Ladies and gentlemen and programmers, we're going to do part 3 of lesson 4. All right, we want to fill our empty boxes so that we can animate our crab. Okay, so right now we have an empty box called image 1, an empty box called image 2, but what we need to fill those with is Greenfoot image object robots that are holding pictures that we can use, like, hey, give us picture 1, and then we switch to that picture. Hey, give us picture 2. So it gives us the little, looks like our crab is animated, okay? So that's what we want to do. We want to fill our empty boxes. All right, notice that there's this sissy blue color. That means get out your handouts. We're going to take these notes on the handouts. All right, so an assignment is a statement that enables us to store something into a variable. This is how we put stuff in the empty box, okay? So far we've declared our instance variables or fields. Now we're going to assign something to them for the first time, which is, so we're going to assign something. So you say the name of the variable, such as image1, then equals, and then what do we want to stick in the box, okay? What is this called? Hopefully you know by now. If not, ask me. Okay, write this, fill this in, fill this in. All right, let's keep going. All right, so here is the code. Don't type this code in just yet, but this is the code that we're going to use. We're going to say image1 equals new Greenfoot image crab.png. So what it's going to do is you're going to say, hey, empty box called image1. And he's going to say, what do you want? And we're going to say, hey, I want you to put something new in there. And we're going to make a brand new Greenfoot image object. So the Greenfoot factory kicks in. We make a new object from our class Greenfoot image. And this particular robot's holding the image crab1.png. Okay, an assignment statement assigns an object or a value to a variable. Write that down. Okay, so here's an example of an assignment. So let's say you had a variable called x. You could say x equals 5. Okay, so look at this one. Image1 equals new Greenfoot. This is assigning an object. So you're putting an actual robot in the box. If you say x equals 5, you're just sticking a simple integer value 5 in the box. You could say nice equals true, so you're assigning a Boolean value to the box. So you can assign robots or objects or just values. This is more complex. This is more simple. Okay, so all right, so we already created our image1, and let's say we created a box called x, right? So if we say image1 equals new Greenfoot image crab.png, so we're basically putting a reference to the object in the box, okay? If we say x equals 5, we're actually putting the 5 in the box. Now here's the difference. The 5 is super simple. It just lives in the box, right? It's actually in the box. If we're creating a robot, the robot doesn't actually live in the box. He doesn't fit in the box. And the real problem is that we can have him in like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000 different boxes, right? So we can't like chop him up and put him in 1,000 different boxes. So what actually happens is he's actually living over here somewhere else. And there's basically just an arrow is like, hey, when I say image1, I'm really talking to this guy over here. All right, because like I said, he doesn't actually fit in the box, and he could actually be in multiple boxes, right? And so it's just a reference to it, if that makes any sense. If that doesn't make any sense, talk to me about it, and I'll try to explain it better to you face to face. All right, here is the code we will write later. By the way, we already have public class crab extends animal, right? And we already have private Greenfoot image1, private Greenfoot image 2, right? We already have this code. Here is the code that we're going to write. Image1 equals new Green image, right? So here's the code we're going to write later. But for now, with this code, we will have 3 objects, 1 crab and 2 images. The crab has 2 variables that contain references to the images. We can act as if the images are in the box. So just like I said, okay, so you have this box, right? And so the Greenfoot image robot lives somewhere else, and this is just a reference, but it's the same thing as like when we say, hey, image1, we're actually talking to this guy. When we say image2, we're actually talking to this guy. And by the way, what is the box really? The box really is a space in the RAM. It's just like, oh, okay, there's this little space in the RAM over here, and we're going to store stuff there, right? So in the RAM chip in the computer, it's just like makes a little space there, and you can store your information. Oh, I forgot. This is a sissy blue color. All right, when an object is assigned to a variable, the variable contains a reference to the object. So he's not actually living in the box, he's living somewhere else, but it works as if he's living in the box. When a value is assigned to a variable, you actually stick the value in the box, just like we talked up here. This guy actually lives in the box. This guy, there's just a reference to this guy. All right, so we want to initialize these guys, right? We actually want, finally, after we talked, we actually want to put the robots in the boxes. Where should we put the code that initializes these images? And so just as a hint, we want it to happen. How many times do we want it to happen? One time. We want to have it happen like, do we want the images to be placed in there like 15 minutes into the game, or like right when we first start? And the answer is right when we first start. And so if you're thinking, you might think, oh, I'm going to put this in the constructor of the world. It's like, oh, that's a good thought. That's your thinking, but it's not going to be in the constructor of the world. It's going to be, we're not trying to build the world. We're trying to build the crab, right? So it's going to be in the constructor of the crab. The problem is we don't have a constructor for the crab, so we're going to have to make a constructor for the crab, right? Where should we put act method? No, because the act method, if we did it in the act method, we'd say put it in there, put it in there, put it in there, put it in there, put it in there. Crab world? No, because it should go with the crab, not the world. So the constructor of the actors class, in this case the crab, yep, that's where we're going to put it, okay? All right, so the code in the constructor is executed once when the actor is created, and it initializes two variables. All right, so here's the code we're actually going to write. So you're going to have to, code is already written. So right after this, you're going to have to create public crab. Notice, remember, the constructor has the same name as the class. It doesn't say void, right? But it's a method, so it's public crab parentheses, same format, parentheses, opening and closing curly brace. And so here's the code you're going to write. Okay, write this down. The signature of an actor constructor does not include a return type. No void, no Boolean, no nothing, no return type. The name of the constructor is the same as the name of the class. Same. The constructor is automatically executed one time when a crab object is created. So this code runs once right at the beginning, help building the crab. Okay, write that down. Okay, so now write this down. All right, so write that code in there. We might as well write that code in there using your variable. All right, so we have this variable that was empty, and now we filled it, and then finally, we're actually going to do something with it. Okay, so we declare the variable. Put this in your handouts. When we first assign a value or object to a variable, we initialize it. Okay, so we're declaring it. In this thing right here and here, we're initializing it. We're putting something into our empty box. And then finally, we're actually using it. We're going to say, hey, set image 1. So this is what we've been trying to get to all along. So it's going to say, hey, image 1. He's like, what? And it's like, hey, robot, give me your image. So you grab the image from the robot, and then you give it to the crab. This demonstrates how the name of the variable image1 can be used now to refer to the image object stored into it. So basically, let's see if we can find a picture of this. All right, so basically we're saying, hey, image1, and this robot that's a reference there says, what do you want? And you're like, give me your picture. And so he hands you the picture, and then you use it. Okay, so here's basically how it works is we say private Greenfoot image1, and our box is created. Our second box is created. It's our instance variable name, image1 and image2. So we've declared the instance variable or field. Okay, and then when we get down here, we're assigning something to it. We're saying, hey, create a brand new Greenfoot image object, create a brand new Greenfoot image object, and stick a reference to it in the box. And then when we get to this line of code right here, we're saying, oh yeah, let's use this. So like we say, hey, image1, and he hands us the image, and then we use it, right? And eventually we're going to say, hey, image2, give us an image. And so we're going to switch back and forth between two images that are going to make him look like he moves. All right, add this constructor to your crab class, public crab. Yeah, add this right in the spot that it goes, add this code. Okay, and then inspect your crab now and see what the difference is. All right, so let's go back. The code's going to look like this. So this already exists. You're going to create all this in this spot. Okay, and then answer the questions. Inspector crab object again. What is the difference about the variables now? Well, let's find out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to come right here, and we're going to say public crab opening, oops, that's not it, opening and closing curly braces. And we're going to say we can image 1 equals painful. Okay, I went ahead and hit pause and finish because that was painful. All right, let's answer this question. What is different about the variables now? So that's basically saying inspect them. Oh, it does actually say that. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to it. Okay, so if we inspect, okay, so we hit inspect. Look at this. So notice it's a reference. It's saying, hey, you have an object in here. There's an object there's a reference to. So when you say image 1, you're talking to that guy. When you say image 2, you're talking to that guy. Notice though that X and Y, the numbers actually live in the boxes. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Answer these questions. And you're going to need help on this, so please ask me for help. Okay, there's that. Do this. And answer these questions. And that's it for there. All right. Thanks, guys.